Hey everybody, welcome to day 21 of my 31 days of Halloween 2023. I say 2023 now because I am planning on living long enough to at least do 2024 Halloween 31 days. Aha! So, I am looking forward, and so what we are doing here today, this is some really awful looking spiders. I will turn this over and you will see what I mean. They don't look like spiders, they kind of look like ticks or something. See if I can get that to focus in better. There we go. So I'm not using those. I don't like them. I should pour them just to find out what they actually look like, and I shall. But I won't be using them in this. Instead, there are 4 items here. There's a witch, a bat, a spider, and a boo with a ghost. These are 4 of the items that came off my birthday card from 2021 that my sister sent me. They are the ones I remembered from 2021. I forgot completely about last year's in 2022 when my sister sent me several items, and I've had this one on display in my room ever since, and I will show you what this one is. This is pretty awesome. How I forgot about it, I don't know. Let me zoom back out again so that you can see. I'll move them up just a little bit. They're a little dusty because, yes, they have been on display for a year. They have light up eyes, as you see. That's the furthest out I can zoom. I'm sorry, everybody. But let's turn it sideways and see if you can get a better look. How I could have forgotten about this, I don't know. Or the other items, which in 21, she sent me a wreath for my door, and in 22, she sent me another wreath for my door. And as I said, I don't understand how I forgot. Wow, sorry, I got distracted. I was looking at my monitor, and that looks like a pair of eyes. Pretty cool for today's, well, for this season, I guess. So let me zoom back in. But she'd also sent me a large spider with web. And I don't know where that's at. It got packed. So did the 2 wreaths. And of course, as I said in the last few videos, my husband, who went out to the storage room to go retrieve them for decorating this year, says he can't find them. Unfortunately, I am not in the health needed to move all those heavy boxes, so I won't be able to find them either, which is unfortunate. So I'm not decorating the outside this year, or my front room window, nor my art room, other than with the creations I've been making for the last 20 days, plus all the way through to Halloween. Now, as a reminder, I will be having a live on Sunday the 29th at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, which means that would be 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, and noon on the West Coast. So I hope you'll join us. I will be using my computer for the live because I can't see small print, and yeah, my eye doctor appointment is not until December 11th now. So, oh boy, I will muddle through until then. Anyway, back to this. This hangs, and the purpose of it hanging, I don't know. I've never seen a web grow like that. If anything, the hanger should have been here, or here, or here. Someplace on the sides would have been the best. That way it could have hung like this, like it's in a corner, or even the opposite way, like it's in a corner. So I'm not sure how I want to proceed with that whole idea, but I am aiming it this way. I intend to, as I was stating, put it in my, well, I think I'll aim it that way, so when it flips over, it can go on the corner of one of my cabinets in here. And yes, I think I'll do it that way. I will aim it that way. Now the inclusions I will be using are this witch. She is sparkly. I've been witch since I was born on Halloween, and that's representative of myself. I want to have her, of course, looking like she's flying. So all of the web itself, all these little indents here, that's going to be in something as translucent as possible, but still with some color to show it's a web. And then, of course, I'm probably going to put her more like this, so that we have a spider being able to come down in the web, so that most of its body will be seen. Yes, I did check for height. These will fit in the resin very well. The bat, I want it kind of flying like that, and the boo kind of right about there. So that's the beginning. I'm going to gather up my, well, I'm not sure if I'm using inks or micas. If I'm using micas, I have to make sure I don't use a lot of mica so that these items have a chance to shine through. Alright, right back. Alright, I have decided on using my black pigment paste. It always turns out translucent, so I'll be able to see these items behind it. And for after that cures, I will be putting this white mica, which actually turns out silvery. I will make it just as translucent. I don't know how deep this is. I don't know the volume that's needed for it. So I'm going to start off with 20 mil. I know it sounds like a little, or I might even start off with 30 mil. I'm not really sure. But I know it's a little. I know that. But at the same time, a little goes a long way at times, and all that's necessary is just to have the webbing black. So I'm going to that's all, folks. Anyway, I'm going to put you on pause while I mix resin. I've decided to go with 30 mil, and anything left over I've got a small mold set aside. So I'm just going to get this mixed up, and I won't bore you with that. You all know by now, if you've seen my videos, I try to show each time how they're mixed, and if I don't, it's because I've already shown it recently, and you can always refer back to those videos. So I'm going to go ahead and pause you once again and be back soon. Of course, if you're new to the channel, I appreciate your viewage. Please check through my other videos. You will see how I mix my resin so that it gets perfectly mixed. Alright, thank you. Alright, I'm going to go ahead, clean this stick off a little bit so I can put my black in. I do have to make more soon. I've been using it quite a bit. Sorry about the shadowing, but unfortunately I cannot have a whole lot of light in here today. Just a small headache, but mostly it's my eyes that are causing the issue. I think I've strained them a bit. Now I've scraped everything I can off of here, and I'm going to dip one and then scrape that just a little. I know I'm not in camera really all the way, am I? Yeah, I just noticed a little floppy thing. There it is. That means I had a piece of fur get in. So we just remove that little guy. And now we just use what's on the stick so that we can get the coloration and the translucency. I do have my heat mat on at this point. Just to warm up my resin. That's how I get it as bubble free as possible without putting it in what I call a pressure cooker, but it's just a vacuum pot, or a compressor I should say. I do have a bubble vacuum pot, but I don't actually use it. I've used it a couple of times, and I find that my method seems to remove a lot more bubbles. And the amount of time that you have to spend putting that in that vacuum chamber, minutes and minutes and minutes, sometimes up to twice of 9 minutes, so 18 minutes, that truly cuts down every bit on your work time, and I don't like that idea. I've had a couple of rush jobs because of that. Alright, I've got it as mixed as I'm going to get it. It is as translucent as I want, but I'm going to scrape this stick and stir one more time to remove all that streaking that can happen from unmixed ink or mica. Excuse me. You have to love allergies. because they certainly love me. Alright, I've got it all done. One more scrape, make sure there's no streaks, and it's golden. So I'm going to set this stick aside. I do let my sticks cure with their resins so that it seals those bubbles out of there. And then we're just going to get this poured in. Hopefully not all over the place. Oops. Luckily it's a very shiny mold. It should run off of there. But I will wipe it for just in case. I'm going to let it run down the side so I can control it better. Get some on the sides over here. Hopefully this will be the amount I need, and I won't have to mix any more. It seems to be. So that was 30 ml, which equals 1 ounce, or thereabouts anyway. So this can't possibly take more than 2.5 ounces, maybe 3 with the spiders. So that looks good right there for me. Time to clean this little cup. And I take a wet wipe first and make sure nothing can get on my gloves for transferring. And just go in there. Wipe out as much as you can. Turn it over. Do it again. Never waste if you don't have to. Clean real tight against your rim. Ooh, I got a drip, sorry. That's a really liquidy baby wipe. Then I will take a dry paper towel or napkin. In this case it's a napkin, that's what I use most often. I see the possibility of a bubble, so I'm going to take a look at it real fast here. And I do see I dripped on the mold itself. Okay, now for this cleanup, after the paper towel, I use alcohol to clean the rest of the resin out. And I finally got some 99% in. However, I'm going to use up the 91% for cleanups. Couple, 3, 4, 5 squirts. Then go back to the baby wipe. Get your fingers down in there on those ridges that these cups have. Wipe back and forth. Now if you feel you're not getting it, make sure you also do it where you have it where you can go up and down, but you just want to go outwards like that. It cleans it so much better. I have also found if you mark your cups that you use that don't have already, say, a black marking or a red marking, if you use red, it is so much easier to see, and you mark it just at this point that you know you want to go to. Alcohol will clean that off, so you can reuse the cup without markings on it. So you just scrub over that marking. Make sure you clean that outside really well. I'm going to set that upside down to let everything drain down. Okay, clean that up. Now let's try to get that little dot. There we go. All done. Okay, the only thing left to do now, oh yeah, is of course these that were not used. I pulled these out of two different baby wipe packages that I had lost one, but what I do is I put them back in. They're all folded a different way so that they're easier to pull out. And you keep one corner edge up and close it up so you can use them. And then, of course, a wipe out with a paper towel or napkin so you don't have any residue from the baby wipe itself. As you can tell, the paper is not staying behind, so it's not sticking to any kind of resin inside. There's a little bit of the red left right there, but another spritz of alcohol and it'll be gone. I'm not worried about it because I will probably be reusing everything very quickly here. And I do want to get a small, thin, clear layer of resin before I pour the white, so I can place each one of these items into the clear. That way I don't have the white going under and trying to hide them. Alright, I'm going to pause you now. It's going to take a couple hours for this to cure, and I'll be back then. Just a sec, I wanted to let you know that these food tents, you can find them on lots of places. I'm going to show you, this is actually covering both my glass leveling table and my heat mat. And let me grab my tape measure and tell you what size this one is. It is squared off, and I got it in a pack with many. I think there were 4 of these smaller ones here and 2 large. So if you have a larger project you need to cover, they do have those too. Let's see if I can get this measured out. This one's about 17 inches squared. Alright, back in 2 hours, probably 3, so that it can cure enough. Well, 2 hours, I'll be back and then I'll pour the clear. Okay, now comes the time to use the clear. And what I want to do first is just to drizzle some on the top here of each one of these so that I can place my inclusions in and squish them around on there, because as I said, it's only going to be a very thin layer. What's left over, after I make sure that it comes up to the bottom of each of the inclusions, that will go into my excess mold. So it will get colored. I do have my heat mat back on again. Now, as I'm not too sure where these inclusions are going to sit just yet, I made sure to put some on every single bump here. Web hollow. Spread it around. Alright, so if I remember, I wanted to place the witch right about here. And the reason why I'm doing this so little is I don't want them moving. Once they're there, they're going to have to stay there. Let's see, get the bat and let him settle. Get the spider. Oh, I put the witch in the wrong place, didn't I? But that's alright. I think I'm good with that. Because the ghost is maybe trying to scare the spider away. So now I'll pour this rest of in as far as up to the underneath of the inclusions. I think that's just too close together here. So let me see if I can remember how I was going to do it in the first place. I think the bat was going across two of them. And I'm just going to sort of scooch the witch upwards a little. Move the bat over again just a smidge, like maybe pointed that way. There we go. And then move the ghost to there. Now that'll do. Okay, I forgot to pull out a wet wipe, so this is why I folded them the way I did, so I could grab just one at a time and not touch all the rest. Get my fingers wiped off, so I'm not touching everything with resin. Somehow this glove seemed to have grown on me, as in it's now longer than my fingers. Alright, let's get this poured in, and I will do it this way so that it spreads where it needs to spread. I'm really hoping it gets up all the way to the underneath of those inclusions. But it doesn't look like maybe it's going to. So I may have to pause you and get a little bit more made. But I'm going to let it rest for a couple moments to see where it comes up to. And that was another ounce. Let's see if we can coax it in here a little bit. It's close, but no, not quite there. Alright, I'm going to pause you, mix up some more, and we'll go one more time. But I do want to get it off my products here, since I'll have to reuse them. And do not reuse it immediately until, you know, you've got to clean all the old out so you know exactly how much you're putting into the new. So let me go ahead, get you on pause, and I'll be back soon. Alright, I decided to go ahead and let it rest a few more moments. And because I did, I found that there actually is just enough to hit the underneath of those items. And I did readjust a couple of them because it just didn't look right to me. So I'm kind of thinking that pretty much, I'm trying to get a glove off, everybody. I'm kind of thinking that that's going to do it right there. And then the next time you see me, of course, will be when it's time to add the background. And I actually thought against the background being white or silvery white, and I'm going to go with a blue. So we'll see what color blue I can come up with when I come back. Alright, I did change my mind on the silvery white on the back. Just didn't like that idea. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to take this lavenderish purple and this blue here, and I'm going to actually mix the two with more purple going in than the blue. And I haven't opened that one yet, of course. One moment, I don't want any poopies, so I'm going to throw on a mask. Maybe when I get my new eyeballs, they'll think of maybe a company that might be able to do goggles that are prescription. That would be kind of nice, actually, for eyewear protection as well, because the goggles I do have don't work with my glasses. And believe me, if I could find a company that could give me a full face mask with oxygen abilities, that would work out fantastic. I'm not understanding. Oh, never mind. I am now understanding. Haha, wrong lid. But it would be nice to have something with an oxygen feed. We're talking, I'm a claustrophobic, number one, so enclosed anything really gets on my last nerve. And the more closed in it feels, the worse it is for me. Now this is not fully set. This is tacky set, which is the perfect timing. So I'm going to go ahead and dive into this. That's one heck of a heaping spoon. I figure if I'm going to make a special purple, I'm going to make a lot of a special purple. So 3 really huge heaping purples. Now let's make a 4. Alright, that's the purple in. Of course, I'm breathing in. See, this one went to the purple. And my glasses are fogging when I breathe out. Let's see, I've got another little spoon. I'll just leave that one to the side for the moment. That's a really pretty lavender. And then I'm just going to add close to a level of the blue. And see where it sits with that. Gently stir. Don't want poofies. And yes, I'm only going to put in enough to keep it translucent. Get that cat away, please. Big John, Mama's busy. Sorry, baby. Alright, so if we want to see the difference, we look at that one, we look at this one, so there's just a hint of the blue showing. My face is itching, of course. So we're going to put just a little bit more blue. Slightly rounded. I'm going to go ahead and close this up because I don't think I'll need anything more than that. Before you take off all the way, can you please go ahead and get me some Pepsi to bring in, please? I'm thirsty. And that Dr. Pepper was nasty from McDonald's. Yes, our McDonald's here lacks a lot. Their fries are nasty now. They're always half cooked or cold. They said it's because the McDonald's Corporation says they have to cook it a certain way these days. And this has been like 5 or 6 years now. So, yeah, when we're in a rush, we don't have many choices here for fast food. So when we're in a rush, we've got the choice of McDonald's, Arby's, which is disgusting here. And they no longer have turkey all the time. That's been since 2020. Then we were told that when the turkey runs out, now I want to know how old this turkey actually is, because when the turkey runs out, that's it. I got rid of the ham. Oh, that's a really nice purple now. Oh yes, lots better. Okay, so that's ready. But there's McDonald's, Arby's, Taco John's, and Subway for our fast food joints. And I'll tell you, we try very hard to stay away from the fast foods. And then we have 2 pizza places here. One is a Pizza Hut. It is, of course, owned and operated by somebody here, but it is a franchise. Same thing with the Subway, and I'm not sure about Arby's and McDonald's. I think it's the same thing, that they're just franchises, but they still have to follow corporate. So, yeah, we kind of have some issues with that. I can't clean that off just yet. But that's our choices. We do have a Chinese restaurant that does buffet, or at least they used to do buffet all the time before 2020. After that, of course, well, nobody was doing buffet. We have another Asian restaurant outside of town. Both of those places are expensive, but the one in town, the buffet one, that's no longer really a buffet, they're the better ones, price-wise. I've never eaten at the other one because they're expensive. And I know that they do a little bit of different Asian cuisines, like Thai and such. And since I can't have a whole lot of spice in my life, yeah, can't even try it. So, those are our choices for foods here. Oh, or the deli at our local grocery store. And yes, we only have one grocery store. No true department stores. We have one that's kind of an all-around store for farmers and people with pets, etc. They're a little bit on the expensive side. So most of the items we get here in town happen to be very few. So we do all of our shopping basically online, except for perishable foods. Otherwise we wouldn't be able to afford to eat in this town. And for some reason they thought that raising rents and home prices was going to get them somewhere, I guess, California style or something. I don't know. Ridiculous pricing. The homes are all old. Here, most are in kind of bad repair. Someone's been buying up homes here and then turning them into rentals. at extreme prices. So basically you can't really afford to rent here unless you get a hold of a single owner. So we do own our own property, but the home on it is dilapidated. It is beyond repair, and it's a mobile home, so it's a mobile home property, can only have another mobile home put onto it. And well, we've been trying to save back in order to go ahead and put a huge down payment on one, because otherwise the payments are astronomical now. So right now we're in a house that we started doing the cleanups and repairs on. We've been here almost 3 years, or around 3 years, and I had to quit doing most of the stuff because of my health. So pretty soon we're going to have to start paying rent here, and that's going to suck. Our other bills are extreme. Right now my husband's got his pickup payment. We have a camper payment because just in case, you know, we get kicked out of here, we have to have something to live in. And I'm okay with it. We bought one with a slide for the front room, so I won't feel as claustrophobic. And then we can just put it on our property as soon as, well, as soon as we get electricity back to the property, because somebody, while we were gone, decided to rip open our electrical meter, and so now the electrical company won't hook us back up, because it used to be just a 50 amp service, and now they won't hook up electricity again until it's upgraded, at my cost of course, to at least 100 amp, and it's not much more to go to 200 amps. So we're looking at between $4,000 and $5,000 to do that. So yeah, we're trying to save back for that too. Not always easy, but hey, you work for what you want, and that's what we've been doing. That's what I've done since I was 12 years old. Alright, I'm going to shut up now, and I'm going to get to mixing that resin. Back in a moment. Alright, it's mixed. Now we're just going to dump a little bit of the purple in. As I said, I want to keep it translucent. So just a little bit. If I need more, then I will put more. But we want to start out with the smallest amount possible. Scrape it off so I don't get it all over the place. And just leave it on top there. Start bringing it out little by little to spread it so you can get those clumps. Now my resin is heating. As I'm doing this, it's on the mat. Oh wow. That is turning gorgeous. And the reason I do this on my heat mat is it continues to help release any bubbles that start getting made. Okay, I'm looking down the bottom. It's not all mixed yet, so a little bit more mixing. Just like you would in any kind of baking or cooking. Stir bottom to top, sideways with your stick. And that helps to bring the uncolored resin to the top while dropping the colored resin to the bottom. And always keep turning your little cup or your big cup, whichever you're using. All right, I believe I am stirred in. Nice and translucent. So, here we go. Let's see if I made just enough again. I think it might be more than enough because of the inclusions in here. So we're going to start working on top of the inclusions at this point. And we want to be all the way to the top of them. So we're just going to do that and let it spread. Scrape everything that you can out. As I said, I know how to mix this resin so that there are no uncured or unmixed parts of the resin and the hardener. It's a combination of the heat mat to thin it out. That also, as I said, helps release any bubbles. I really do not like these cups though because of all those things that tend to mess with everything. And it looks like I'm probably going to need more resin. This is what it's showing me. There are areas it's spreading to, but I can see with as much that's still needed. So that was another ounce of resin. Yeah, the mold's got too much showing still. Sides on the edges, same thing. And before I go ahead and make more resin though, I want to go ahead and tilt this back that way because these molds really have huge leveling issues. So I'm trying not to break my inclusions away. I'll let that run back. I'm going to put you on pause and be back in a second with more resin. Alright, I made another ounce. It is slightly darker purple, unfortunately. You can never get the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour some over here and sort of just do it that way. Let the chips fall where they may. Do you want to make sure it gets edge to edge? With this one here, that'll make a total of 4 ounces of resin so far. Notice I said so far, who knows, right? And it looks like I'm going to have to put some popsicle sticks underneath this one side. As long as these backs are covered of these inclusions, I will be absolutely fine with this. I really don't like those ridges. Who do they think they are? Ruffles. Okay. It looks like I won't have to go ahead and make more. I'm going to make sure her hat is covered and her face. She looked a little thin there. Got a little bit of unmixed mica there. And it looks like I'm good. Alright everybody, I'm going to put you on pause and see you at the demold. Alright, I'm back. It took me a little while to remember that I was going to do these spiders to see how bad they are. So I also noticed a bubble right here and one on the back of the bat. There were no other bubbles. Oops, doesn't do any good to have it upside down. So that's the back. The spiders are still slightly tacky, but they are cured. At least I hope all the way through. I'm going to test those first. If they're still tacky completely, I'm going to go ahead and put them in a glass of water later to finish them off. I just want to see if they're fully cured underneath here. I did set them under the lights for each layer. And they are still slightly tacky, so they will go under. And that's what they look like. Let's see if I can get this thing to focus in. They still look like a tick. So I'll get the other one out and set it aside. Hopefully it's not as bad. You could definitely set them up as ticks. Yeah, he's tacky too. Let's see if I can get him to focus. Nope, just doesn't want to focus. I think he knows he's as bad as he is. Okay, let go. Okay, let me clean off my fingers real fast. And now, the main attraction. Oh, I want to clarify about California. I lived there 21 years raising my children. And I raised 2 to adulthood there. I also had 2 children I brought with me. The 2 oldest ones wanted to stay in California. They soon joined me 6 months later. But all the time we lived there, they were constantly being approached by the gangs. And at one point in time, we lived in a complex that there were probably about 130 adults and children together trying to break into my home after my children. And that's when it was done. I was done. I had to have cops there and everything else. So that was my decision. That I moved out of that area, absolutely. But it wasn't any better in some of the other areas either. So with all the crime, all the gangs, I couldn't take it anymore. And when I met my husband, I met him online. He lived here in Wyoming. I lived there in California. And we met probably around the mid to end of September of '96. And December, I was kind of kidding around, and I said, you know, why don't we just get married? And he said yes. And I'm like, you're kidding, right? You're not kidding. You're kidding? No? You're okay. So I picked up my children and I went from there to here. It took me 18 hours, and I've been here ever since. And my oldest one still lives in Wyoming, about 35 miles or so away. My middle son went back to California a few years ago, and my youngest son went, and he's now living in Washington State, and my youngest, my daughter, is living in Florida. And yes, I just had a nice, pleasant, actual text talk with my middle son, the only one that really ever still contacts me every now and then. And he's got his own little business on the side. And, well, I gave him my business. So what I did was I have ordered a sign for my Marcysartsyfartsycreations, and he's working on it right now, and I will have that soon enough. So another thing I wanted to bring up when I was talking about food here, yeah, we don't have many choices. So if you've seen my Temu hauls, you've seen a food dehydrator. Well, I just printed out the manual, and of course my animals had to do something to it. But I used it for the first time tonight. I am in the process, and it should be done by 9 o'clock in the morning. But I'm making beef jerky. I'm making hickory smoked honey flavored jerky and barbecue flavored jerky. The barbecue's for myself because my husband doesn't like barbecue. So, anyway, clarifying all that, let's get to this. I know this is over an hour long now. It's hit an hour and 3 minutes. So let's see how this came out. It's still a little bendy, not fully cured, but it is cured enough to remove. And I will allow it to finish curing later, well, through the night. It is for me now 4 minutes till 1 o'clock in the morning. So of course this is going to be late getting out because I still have to upload it and put the description in and all that. Now remember, this little hanging piece right here won't be used. I'll probably end up cutting it off because that's not the orientation a web is. You don't hang a web upside down at the corner like that. A web grows from corners. And so I made this one to be cornered like this. And since I want to see it myself the same time you do, okay, fly, if you don't go away. Towards the end of October, 2/3 of October gone, and I've got to fly. So, yeah, 10 days. Wow, 10 days. Halloween. 10 days. I turn another year older, and I'm good with that, actually. I don't mind getting old. I just don't want to be forgotten. And hopefully some of these things will live on when I'm gone. Oh, for Pete's sake, that nib does not want to come out very well. So I'm going to have to turn it back over for a second to remove that nib. Oh, that's because it's really soft there still. So let's see if I can work it out like I had to work out the other one for that knife. Get my little tool. And we'll just work under it real fast here. Of course, it won't really matter if I'm cutting it off, will it? And I will be drilling a hole through here so I can hang this. Well, here it comes. Not too damaged even. How about that? Alright, back over in position. Here we go. Alright, there it is. Might have to turn a light or two off for you to see better. Let me see if I can grab this. It's the thinner parts that are still soft. But there they are. Sis, this video goes out to you. This day is yours. I love you. I always will. No matter our differences. It's what makes humans human, to have those differences. Well, look at that. I noticed some more bubbles. Sorry, sis. I'm trying to do it well. But there is a bubble here in the boo. And another bubble. Where'd it go? Right here above the boo. Let's see if I can get that up there. Focus in. Come on. There we go. There's two bubbles in the O. Gives it character, right? Alright, everybody. That's it for today's episode. Tomorrow, I'm working up an idea for the 22nd. And, oh boy. Sometimes you think you're going to run out of inspiration doing it this many days in a row. I didn't used to do things this many days in a row, but I think I'm getting through it. I want to thank all of my subscribers. You guys have been awesome. And I want to thank all my new subscribers. You guys, thank you so much for subscribing. It is helping me to grow. Not just my channel, but myself. For all the suggestions that I get to see in the comments, those help me grow. And I appreciate it more than you all know. So if you liked it, thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, maybe consider doing so. If you do, hit the notification bell for being notified of future videos. And, of course, share and comment. Y'all are great. Peace out.